Jalen Hurts has quickly become one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL and one of the potential future faces of the league. Having last season become an MVP candidate and leading his team to a Super Bowl appearance, it's safe to say he is definitely one of the best, and he deserves to get treated as such in the form of a huge contract extension, which is no doubt looming for Hurts and the Eagles this offseason. But some people are worried about what a Jalen Hurts contract extension could look like and how that could hamper the Eagles' ability to build out the rest of their roster moving into the future. But realistically, we shouldn't be too worried, as Jalen Hurts understands this. There's actually something that he can do that could set the Philadelphia Eagles up beautifully for success for years to come. And recently, some new information has come out that makes it seem like he might just do it. And we're going to talk all about that in this video today. But before we do that, make sure you go down and subscribe to the channel for more Philadelphia Eagles content coming throughout this entire offseason. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a like on this video if you do enjoy. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the video. Last season for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts was an absolute monster. Heading into the year, there were a lot of questions among NFL fans and people around the league on whether Jalen Hurts could truly become the Eagles franchise quarterback and whether he was the guy for them moving forward into the future. And it's safe to say he answered all those questions as he became one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. He led the Eagles to a 14-1 regular season record in the 15 games he did play, and then he also led the Eagles to 2 postseason wins as well, giving him a 16-2 record overall. And Jalen Hurts really did accomplish a lot last season. He led the Eagles to the #1 record in the NFL, tied with the Kansas City Chiefs, an NFC East title, an NFC title, and a Super Bowl appearance. This was all just in his second full season starting, and in 2022 he was very productive and he had some very impressive stats. In 15 games he passed for 3,701 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions, and he had a 66.5% completion percentage, and he also had a 101.6 quarterback rating and a 66.4 QBR, which was 4th best in the league as well. And then rushing wise, he had 165 carries for 760 yards and 13 touchdowns, giving him 35 total touchdowns on the season, and he also had 67 rushing first downs. And in the postseason, he added to those impressive numbers. He had 579 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 66.7% completion percentage, and a 96.9 quarterback rating. And then on the ground, he had 35 carries for 143 yards and 5 total touchdowns. And his best performance of the entire season and of his entire football career came in Super Bowl 57 versus the Chiefs, where he put up some great numbers and did some historic things. He tied the record for the most individual points ever scored in a Super Bowl. He had the most rushing yards by a quarterback in Super Bowl history, and he was also the first player in NFL history to ever throw for 300 yards, 70 rushing yards, 70% completion percentage, and rush for 3 touchdowns in any game ever. Super Bowl, postseason, regular season. Jalen Hurts was the first person to ever put up a stat line that looked like that. And in addition to all this and all the impressive numbers and things he did on the field, he's also the perfect leader for the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's safe to say he earned every penny of the eventual contract extension he will get this offseason. And we also have to mention that once the Eagles do end up extending Jalen Hurts, it's definitely an advantage for them. Despite having to pay him a lot of money, you want to be in a position where you have a franchise quarterback that you're confident in and you believe that can be the leader of your franchise moving forward for years to come. And that's exactly the position the Eagles are in now with Jalen Hurts. So that's definitely an advantage for them moving forward. But still, giving him a lot of money will no doubt affect their ability to go out and fill out the rest of their roster and spend money in other areas. And people want to know just how much money Jalen Hurts is going to get when his contract extension does eventually become a reality. Well, it's being projected that he's going to earn around $50+ million per season, which is around the quarterback market right now for the top paid guys in the league. And there's no doubt that this is a lot of money to wrap up in one individual player. And again, people are worried about how it could potentially affect the Eagles moving into the future, because the common belief is that it's harder to win when you pay your quarterback, because obviously having all that money wrapped up in one player then gives you less money to spend in other areas of the team. But of course, Jalen Hurts wants to win, and he knows that you have to have a talented roster to win a Super Bowl. No matter how good he individually might be, he knows he needs some help around him. He can't just do it all by himself. And winning is his #1 priority. He said that multiple times ever since their Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs, and I think Hurts' actions will reflect that. And what I mean by that is this: Jalen Hurts is not going to go out here and pull a Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's contract that he got with the Browns completely broke the quarterback market. He earned a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract contract before even playing a single snap for the Browns, with all the allegations surrounding him as well at the time. And this is just something that's really hard for a franchise to overcome because you don't have much flexibility when it comes to cap space. And, with all the money being fully guaranteed, they don't have very much money, moving into the future to spend in other areas of the team. And, recently, just last month, they went out and they restructured his contract, which pushed a lot more of his guaranteed salary down the road. And he restructured his cap hit from $55 million this year to just $19 million. But then over the next 3 years, his cap hit is going to be at around $64 million per year. I mean, the Cleveland Browns are absolutely screwed by this Deshaun Watson contract. There's no doubt Jalen Hurts is not going to do anything like this because he's just not that type of guy. He knows how the league works. He wants to win. And it's more than likely that Hurts will try to structure his contract in a way that's somewhat team-friendly while also getting paid the money he deserves. But what specifically can he do to do this? Well, he could take the Tom Brady route if that's something that he's interested in. And obviously, Tom Brady was super successful throughout the course of his entire career, to say the least. He's largely considered to be the GOAT, the greatest of all time, having won 7 Super Bowls throughout his entire career, which is more than any single one NFL franchise has ever won. And he was partially able to have all the success due to him taking pay cuts throughout the course of his entire career with the Patriots and the Buccaneers. And these pay cuts gave these teams a little bit more flexibility in terms of the cap and allowed them to add a little bit more talent around Tom Brady and make the rosters as good as possible and set those teams up all for success and give them the best chance possible to win the Super Bowl year in and year out. And taking a pay cut is not something most players do, but Tom Brady did it often throughout the course of his career, and obviously it paid off. But however, Tom Brady partially was able to do this because of the situation he was in terms of his personal life, as he was obviously married for a long time to Gisele Bündchen, who's super famous and obviously very rich. So obviously, her money situation allowed him to take pay cuts throughout the course of his entire career as well. And, overall, you can't expect many other players to do something like this, including Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has earned every penny of the contract extension he's expected to get, and you can't expect him to come out here and take a pay cut. If he wanted to do that, sure, fine, then make it happen. But if he doesn't want to do that, you can't fault the guy, and that's definitely something that I don't really see that happening. Because there's another option and another direction that he could take that still helps the Philadelphia Eagles in terms of giving them more cap flexibility, and it seems a lot more likely. And that is that he could do something similar to Patrick Mahomes. Now, obviously, Patrick Mahomes, back in the summer of 2020, signed a 10-year, $450 million contract extension to keep him with the Kansas City Chiefs for the long term. And the way that this contract extension was structured was that most of the salary comes from roster bonuses, and there's a lot of opportunities to restructure the contract and give the Chiefs more cap flexibility. And, obviously, Patrick Mahomes has had a lot of success under this contract, winning 2 Super Bowls. He won an MVP. He won 2 Super Bowl MVPs, all while under this contract. And the long structure, the 10-year structure of this contract is great for the Chiefs because as time moves on and the quarterback market continues to get higher and higher, the Chiefs don't continuously have to re-sign Mahomes to upscale his contract to the current value that the quarterback market is at. And as every year goes by, Mahomes' name starts to fall lower and lower in terms of highest paid quarterback rankings, as this year, 3 to 4 guys, including Jalen Hurts, are probably set to make more money than Mahomes gets paid annually. And that's one of the big reasons why this contract is so good for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. And obviously the Chiefs still don't have as much money or cap space as a team that has a quarterback who's on a rookie scale contract, but it's the best the Chiefs can do in terms of having cap flexibility while also paying a quarterback big money. And overall, this is just a win-win situation for Mahomes and the Chiefs because Mahomes gets his money and the Chiefs get their cap flexibility. And now a couple recent reports and some new information that has just come out make it seem like Jalen Hurts could do something very similar. As Mike Sando of The Athletic has said, quote, "I think Hurts will do a Mahomes-type deal with good structure for the team. He seems to get it." And then another analyst for the NFL, Sal Paolantonio, says this: "Jalen doesn't strike me as someone that's going to break the bank and therefore break the roster. I think he understands the economics of this league." And obviously these two quotes are very telling about what a potential Jalen Hurts contract extension could look like. And now at this point, these two quotes are a couple days old, but I still wanted to talk about them because they're very important. Obviously, we've been waiting for a Hurts extension to happen pretty much all offseason. It's the last major domino to fall of the offseason, most likely, aside from the draft. And if Hurts does take a Mahomes-type contract extension, that's huge for the Eagles because it gives them and Howie Roseman, who's, by the way, is probably the best GM at sports, at least in my opinion at this point, a lot more flexibility to work with in terms of cap space and going out and building the roster with more talent the way they want to do it. And Howie Roseman is going to be able to play this situation very well, and he already has been playing the situation very well this entire offseason, adding high upside players for very, very cheap. And they're going to come in, and I think a lot of these guys are going to have a pretty big impact. And Howie Roseman, that's the reason he went out and signed them. And it seems as if Howie Roseman could be secretly working behind the scenes to set up something huge for the 2024 offseason, because, I just want to go over this real fast because I just saw this and it's really interesting to me. But a tweet by Philly Nation a couple days ago says, pretty interesting just looking at it, but after the projected Jalen Hurts extension, with Jordan Mailata, Josh Sweat, Dallas Goedert, and Hassan Reddick getting extensions/restructures, the Eagles could have around $70+ million in cap space in 2024 with 12+ draft picks. Now, I don't know how truthful this is. I haven't gone in and done the math myself, but if what Philly Nation is saying is true here, let's just treat it as it is. That is absolutely insane. $70 million+ in cap space next offseason with 12+ draft picks because of all the compensatory picks the Eagles are going to get from losing free agents this offseason. They would be able to build an absolutely insane roster with all that money and draft capital. And let's not forget that they're still already one of the best teams in the entire NFL, and that's also with Jalen Hurts locked up for the long term. Seems like the Eagles might be planning something huge moving down the road in 2024, but we can't forget that this year, right now, the Eagles are still competing for a Super Bowl as we speak. And I think it's a very realistic possibility that, assuming they handle the draft right and everything like that, the Eagles could definitely see themselves back in the Super Bowl this upcoming season, but somehow it's seeming like 2024 is looking even more promising. And something else to consider with the Eagles moving into the future and as they continue to add players to the roster is that players want to play with Jalen Hurts. A big reason that A.J. Brown is in Philadelphia is because of the connection him and Jalen Hurts have. Obviously, they're pretty close friends, but there's also plenty of other players out there that I'm sure would love to play with Jalen Hurts as well. The talent that he has, the production he has on the field, plus the leadership and just all the qualities that he brings to a team, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that would relish the opportunity to play alongside him. And I know that there's multiple players on the roster that came back. Brandon Graham's the one that I can remember off the top of my head that came back in large part because they wanted to win a Super Bowl here with Jalen Hurts. I'd say that there's guys out there that want to come to Philadelphia for the chance to play with Hurts. The cap flexibility that they could get with him taking a potential Mahomes-like extension would allow for just that. Man, the Eagles are really building something special here with Jalen Hurts as the centerpiece of their organization and their franchise, and they're going to be set up beautifully for years to come. And I could really see the Eagles being a team that's consistently in the mix to, win the NFC East, win the NFC, go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl year in and year out as long as Jalen Hurts is here. And Eagles fans should really be excited about the future of this team. And, from what it seems like, Jalen is not done yet. Jalen's still hungry, and he's coming for it all in 2023 and beyond.
Y'all don't get used to that other thing we did. We plan on finishing moving forward. I know I didn't walk through that fire just to smell the smoke. So we're gonna finish it off like that. Thank you.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Do you think Jalen Hurts will take a Patrick Mahomes-like contract extension? And how successful do you think the Eagles are going to be in Jalen Hurts' tenure here in Philadelphia? As you guys can see, I'm in a pretty different location right now, but still making it happen, still doing videos, still going to be getting stuff out to you guys. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos coming in the future, and drop a like on this video to help push it out to other people. If you want to watch another Eagles video, you can go watch this one right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.